Tim Petrowich for Dateline Marion and WGGH Radio, and we're here today with a double dose of Marion Wildcat coaches.
Yes.
It's Marion head football coach Jason Dunning, and I guess the best description is co-offensive coordinator
Yep.
Justin Vannoy, the guy who calls all the plays on the offense. And boy, I got some questions for you in a minute, but we're previewing we're previewing this Friday's game against Mattoon, but we always talk about the previous game, and that was last Friday night. Uh, the Dandy ball game against Carbondale wound up a winner for the Wildcats 39-35. Started off like a house of fire, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden the fire trucks came and put the blaze out, but you
Yeah.
got it rekindled and wind up coming away with the win in the end.
It was about as much of a roller coaster ride as you could get on and describe. I thought the game started about as well as you could possibly draw it up. I mean, the offense went out was on fire, scoring, moving. Defense was making stops, and we jump out to 27-0, 27-0 lead, and so we hit we kind of found a gear of cruise control, and then all of a sudden Carbondale was like, "We're not done yet." And they came out swinging. It was Pedro is so crazy the fact that it was almost identical to kind of last year's game. We jump out, we're right on that cusp of getting ready to um, blow things even more wide open, and here they come roaring back, and we go into halftime, fortunately up two scores, and it was like last week. We went in, challenged them, and thought, hey, Coach Vannoy said it at halftime. Do what you did last week. Go out, get a stop on defense, get the ball back, and let's go score. And it didn't work out that way. And you're right. It came a ball game again, and the Wildcats found a way in the end to make a few more plays and get a couple stops and um, come out with a W.
So you got down by you gave up 35 in a row, got down by 8. You went down and got the touchdown to cut it to 2. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how Blake Winters caught the pass that he caught. Uh, I describe
I
it
don't
as a
know.
magic trick. I think that's the
Yeah,
only way I can describe it. But talk about that play, because you said that's a play that you run a lot, but it just it was open, and then it got covered up, and then he just made an incredible play.
Yeah, we tried to get Blake on a matchup with an outside linebacker, and they were in man coverage. So we ran some underneath routes and kind of just getting them one on one out there outside the numbers on the sideline. We worked that route a lot in practice. We worked that throw a lot in practice. And, Cal's time was just off a little bit because he was open early. But he put it in a good spot where we were able to just kind of be there and make a play. Carbondale covered it great. Sometimes football you just make plays. You can't explain it. But we do work a lot of things in practice for our receivers that catch the ball under distress. So we try to teach them to be able to focus with contact and with pressure. And just one of those plays, you're just wow.
Well, I mean, it was incredible that he caught it. He had a guy basically face guarding him and leaning on him, and he reached around and caught it with
mm-hmm.
one hand through that guy. But then you've got two guys right there, and you
Right.
think, well, he's going to go. It's going to be a first down,
Right.
but he's all of a
Yeah.
sudden he's running past them both and heading for the end zone.
Yeah, and I would hats off to guys like Blake and Junie and Sam, where I think they're just so big and physical and they're strong, where they can take that contact and still stay athletic on their feet and make plays. And they've done that, over and over again throughout the year, which is, sometimes that's the basis for offenses. Get those guys in one-on-ones in space where they can just use their size and speed and athleticism, in our favor.
So the winning touchdown, and I'll go back and preface that by saying before the winning touchdown, 4 of your 5 touchdowns were rushing
Yeah,
touchdowns. And then the winning touchdown was the first career rushing touchdown for Callahan Roper. I thought that was a possibility when it happened, but I didn't say it after the game. His
yeah,
dad confirmed it, and what are you guys thinking on the sideline when that play is happening? Because as I watch it, I've watched several replays. It just looks like it's in slow motion, and I know that's full Cal, but it just looks like it's in slow motion.
You're right, but I think that there was such a knack, and ironically, during during the week, we I remember having a conversation talking with Cal that that opportunity is going to come open at some point, and you've got to be a competitor, you've got to be a football player, and you've got to go score. That things are covered, you got to go get it. And Cal has been a student of the game. He's a competitor. He's a athlete. He watches it. He studies it. He understands it. And I think the moment he pulled the ball down, he knew exactly where he was headed, and that was to get the ball to the pylon. And you see his aiming point, and then so smart that when you watch it, he's got the ball in his right hand, the outside hand, and as he gets there, right before he transfers it over to the left, so he's able to get it just inside the pylon. And it's like that's a kid that has grown up watching football on Saturdays, Sundays, and just seeing that opportunity and to to envision. I think you go back and there's a couple times throughout the year that Cal's had a chance to run and hasn't. And here was the opportunity where he took advantage of it, and nothing was open. And just to see him, and yeah, I wish he was a 4A kid, but he sold out, and I love the fact that Cal got to make the play. The ball's in his hands. That's what we wanted, and him the opportunity and take advantage of that. And of all the accolades, and it's still when his dad told me after the game, all the accolades that you think about what he's done, and this is the first touchdown that he gets. And hey, hats off to him, and so proud of the season that he's having.
You could see when that play happened. We talked about Carbondale being athletic and being competitive. You could see when that play happened, the wind kind of ran out of their sails. I thought that it showed in their last possession, but we could kind of see going into that after they went on that big run, toward the end of the game they were tired. Their
Mm-hmm.
guys were bent over, tugging on their pants a little bit, just
You know,
and so even though they had that momentum, that's really hard to push through sometimes when you're physically exhausted.
well, and I think that they're what we kind of use the term, they're a momentum team. And that's why I think once they started scoring, it's like, okay, you got to break this because otherwise they're just going to keep feeding it. It's giving them confidence they can do stuff, but they're also playing at a high taxation. And I think that led to, it led to them getting tired. And then I think that they started to kind of, the quarterback, I thought really kind of started to press a little bit. And we were able to get some pressure on him, and especially on the last interception that he threw. I think the fact that we were able to finally break through and get in his face, and he just kind of put it up there. And hats off to our young puppy. Blake took a shot to the hip, was struggling, and we put Jackson Owen in back there, and he made a huge play to to intercept the pass. And I think everybody on the sidelines yelling at him, "Get down, get down, get down!" Because you got a young
In the
kid.
booth, they were yelling the same thing too. Derek was saying, "Get down,
Just
boy."
get down, get down. But no, I thought, and I think not not so much in something I want to brag about in a proud way, but we've been in this situation where we got confidence coming from behind. You don't like to be in that situation. Obviously, I don't want to score 27 and then give up 35 and make it a dogfight. But I kept feeling okay. Offense has confidence. They're going to move the ball. We find a way to get it stopped, get the ball back, do something, and um, and our guys just go and do what they do, and then we go and put the fire out one more time and seal the victory.
uh, Carbondale kind of showed they were a big play team as well, and the one I think about right off the bat was the
Oh
90-yard
yeah,
touchdown pass that he threw that. I mean, he threw that into the fingertips of a receiver running full stride. I
full
mean, it
speed.
was a perfect throw and a perfect, but you know, there were other that and a couple other big plays, but for the most part, you made them work for what they got.
We made them work, and you're right. And I know it's easy. And I even went up to Andre and told him, hey, DBs have to have a short memory because when a defensive lineman messes up, very few people in the stands know they messed up. But when a DB messes up, it's like a wide receiver messing up on dropping a ball. Everybody sees that. And and hearing some comments and people talking and just going, okay, you got a kid that runs 4.4 sprinting at you. You got to make a decision right now. And Andre was just a little bit slow, and he's trying to play catch up to him. And the kid was perfect throw, perfect catch, and they took a shot. And and I think sometimes when you're down 27, your playbook kind of goes out the window, and now you're just in desperation mode and just going, hey, throw it, just throw it, and let's see what happens. And they threw it that time, but then Andre comes back, kind of like what he did last week. He comes back and he does a pretty good job covering it. The rest of the night, he gave him a little bit more cushion, played a little bit smarter, and going, okay, we can give up the underneath stuff. We'll go and tackle it. Just don't get snake bitten and throw that long ball.
And I saw a couple times, especially when he was on the same side with Braylon Berry, who was an outstanding receiver, and he'd get the ball, and it'd be him and Andre did such a great job of breaking down and making a tackle, and
Yeah.
instead of it being a 30 or 40 yard play, it's a 5 or 7 yard
Mm-hmm.
play.
And then if you can make them, oftentimes when we talk about defending speed, if you can make speed stutter and you can make speed have to slow down and make a move, your other guys are just rallying to the ball and helping them out. And our guys played pretty well. I mean, but it's just one of those things that they got momentum, then they got an onside, and then they go score, and then come out in the second half, and they're just throwing. It's like, okay, we'll get this figured out, and just be patient, and we'll calm it down. And, the defense made enough plays and got the offense the ball back, and they go and score and put on a drive. And it was a interesting game, but a typical South 7 matchup that, don't leave early. It's going to go 48 minutes, and that's what it was.
Justin, I want to ask you because we watch this offense, and I've talked to Jason a lot about the defense is out there. You get the ball back, 2 plays, 38 seconds, a 70 yard touchdown drive, things like that.
Yeah.
But you see at times when those plays don't work, and you wind up with a 3 and out, or you wind up with maybe getting one first down and having to give the ball up. But then the next time back out there, you may run the same plays and boom, they work perfectly. Talk about what goes through your mind when you're calling those plays.
So, we see what we see. We like the group of what we've got going on, and part of our offense is how fast we play. And I've talked to Coach Dunning over the years, especially Coach Martin was here, and now that it's us, and he knows that we're going to play that fast, and we've talked about that. We might be 3 and out here, but you know, we might go 60 and score too. So it's just one of those things, just like last year at Mount Vernon when the game was on the line. I said, hey, I'm going to throw it in the first down late in the game, and we're going to score. You know, and we did.
No, we
But
did.
again, it's just kind of what we do, and having the athletes and the guys that we have, where sometimes hey, we may miss Sam just by an inch or two, and then that may have been on 3rd and 10, and then we're going to punt. They do a good job of getting the ball back to us, but I like the play. Just because it didn't execute it doesn't mean it wasn't a good play. And then we might come back and we're going to run it on 2nd and 13 and we hit it. We just have the speed and athleticism that we can take it to the house. And, sometimes it's, you get a guy like Blake, or Marcus, and we're playing that all talk. I call a run play on the 2 yard line. He breaks it for 90.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that we just have the speed and athleticism that if we get in space, we're tough to take down.
I mentioned the fact that Friday night there were the first four touchdowns were rushing touchdowns. Were you seeing a lot of things once it got going? Did you kind of see, hey, this is the momentum we want to keep?
Yeah, I liked how it was going. We had the momentum. We were playing fast. We were getting a lot of positive plays, back and forth, and that's just kind of how it went. And We were up 27. We were throwing the ball well. We were running the ball well. And but like we said, then all of a sudden it just stopped. Uh, but we talked at halftime. I was talking to Coach Brown and Coach Steve during the second half on the sideline. But I'm not going to create new plays. I'm not looking to do something different just because we're not hitting right now. We're just going to keep the pressure on, keep playing fast. They got tired, and we were able to pull off some explosive plays late in that fourth quarter. And I felt like about 5 or 6 minutes left in that game, the fourth quarter, our offense just kind of went to another level physicality wise and how fast. I think partly because they got tired, we ran some GPs for some 9 and 10 yard gains. We got the explosive plays from Blake. Patton had some nice explosive runs late in that game with his fresh leg. Uh, so it was just I like to when I tell Cal a lot, they take what they give us, and that's kind of how you know just because it doesn't work, it doesn't mean it will work.
I want to ask about the guys who a lot of people aren't going to talk about. That you mentioned, Patton Steinsaltz had a huge first down on that last touchdown drive. Um, Aiden Broomfield with a huge first down when you're trying to run the clock out. And then the play we talked about after the game on that last kickoff when you're trying to keep Carbondale from getting good field position. And, Sam was kicking the balls almost through the end zone all night, just got under it. Barry was able to get it, field it, and there's your freshman Vance Burford in there to bring him down, and so they're starting at the 22 instead of the 20. That's not a big difference right there. And so, but those guys, a lot of people won't know about those guys unless we talk about them in a situation like this.
And I think Vance coming out, I told you after the game, he's one of the fastest kids in the school. And we kind of made some adjustments to our kickoff, and it's about getting speed guys down to them. And once again, even if you make him stutter or make him shift gears, we can get other guys going down there. And you got he and Andre and Twitty and Marcus and guys just flying down the field. You're going, okay, you got a chance. And the fact that then he came up with a big tackle on it. He got him to stutter, and then he kind of comes peels back around and makes a play. But you got Jackson Owen that went in, got the interception at the end. But there in the first half, Blake kind of took a shot, and Jackson's got to go out there and Patton and Broom and just so many guys. And it's like it's a good thing in the culture of the program when we have the next man up mentality. And we tell the kids, you're now the starter. Whoever's out there running those 11 guys at that time, that's the starter of what's going on. And our job is to continue to get experience and get guys playing time so that, we lose 16 seniors, 16 guys that everyone who follows Marion football knows. And now we got to throw out some names and get guys ready to step into that role come next year. And it's finding how can we find ways to get, like for instance, making a transition with Broom over to defense because Cal's the guy, Cal's the quarterback. How can we get Broom on the field so that come next year, if he is the starter, he's not walking in Friday night just all big-eyed and going, oh boy. So running the ball, doing some quarterback runs, making him kind of like the guys that we've had in the past that are going to carry the ball, um, putting him on defense, but just finding creative ways of getting guys experience so that Friday nights feel normal. So hats off to all these guys, and it's fun to see them succeed and see Vance out there and see Broom taking over the controls to slam the door shut and get the victory.
Um, since we have one of the offensive guys here, it's a great time to talk about this. I'm the statistician. I'm the historian. I'm going back and looking, and Marion is like 16 points shy this year of cracking the top 5 all time for Marion teams in scoring points. And that's with 8 games. And some of these teams, and the team that scored the most points was the 2021 team that went to the quarterfinal and lost to Kankakee. Um, that team averaged 43.3 points per game. This team through 8 games is averaging 42.5 points a game. So you're right there. And I've talked to Coach Dunning numerous times about how explosive that offense is. Um, is this, I want to ask, is this kind of like to a certain extent, a pride thing because you can see what you can do and you want to take advantage of that?
No, I wouldn't say it's a pride thing. I think we're just fortunate to have so many explosive athletes on the field. And, Cal, one of his greatest things about him being a quarterback is he's smart. He knows where to put the football and when to throw and what to do. And, we're here. I'm just trying to score as many points as we can, win games. And I'm not a big record guy. I love records. I think they're great, but I think records will take care of themselves. If you want to worry about records, the best way to break records is win as many games as you can.
And
And
especially in the postseason, yeah.
especially in the postseason, and you know Sam and Cal and Junior and Blake and Paul and all these guys have just done a great job executing every Friday night, and you know it's more of an honor thing to have this team up there with those teams that went on to win playoff games and were led by Coach Martin. So, it's being an honor to be up there with them. And hopefully we can continue it out. Have our own this senior class and this team have their own legacy with everybody.
So Friday night, first of all, hard to believe it's already the ninth game of the season. It's gone so fast. Um, Senior night, you talked about 16 seniors you're recognizing Friday night, playing a Mattoon team that is 1-7, and everybody's gonna say, well, that should be an easy win.
No.
We see so many times. Here's what I remember. I think it was last year. Mattoon comes here. They're 2-6, and they just in the week before they played Marion, they just put a whole new offense in it. Put a new guy at quarterback and put a whole new offense in.
Yep. And I think Coach Kimbrough, he always kind of defines a wrinkle, something you haven't seen. But you know, our first year, this group's as sophomores, our first year um, being the head coach and him being the offensive coordinator, we go up to Mattoon and we're 4-4, and we're winning, we're in type of situation, and we go up there and he got them he got them to play at a level that we hadn't seen, threw a few wrinkles out, and they came out and he got them to fight. And maybe the only thing that group is playing for is number one for the seniors. It's their last time because they knew that they were done. I think they were 2-6 at the time.
Right.
And the other thing was it was his that group's that he started with. It was their last game, and they're playing at home, and they found an energy, and they took it to us, and they were physical, and they beat us late. And then last year, you're right, they come down. We hadn't seen that. We had seen his son in different positions, but never there running their little beer scheme and going, man, they're doing this off of 4 days of practice. He decides to put this in, and maybe he'd been saving it, and he just made his kid the show, and it took us a little while to figure it out. And it was a tough game through the first half, and then finally going into the third, I think we kind of took control of the game. But they are going to come out. He does a great job. They're going to be a well-disciplined team. They're going to be a physical team. They play in a really tough conference. They've got Mount Zion in there. They've got Taylorville in there. They've got some schools in there that are going to make runs into the playoffs. And we've got to come out, and this week is big because it is senior night, but it's still a ball game that we have a lot to play for. And the message is going to be, get number 6. A lot. The pathway doesn't ever get easy because now you're going to the playoffs, but it gives us a better route, something a little more favorable to start at 6-3 versus 5-4. And for these guys, um, who knows what Saturday's going to bring? I let him and other guys worry about Saturday and looking past, that of what could happen, those projections. We used to sit around and break it down and draw on the board and try to have it figured out, and then one game over here changes everything.
Right.
So that's I'm not wasting my time on that. But we'll find out Saturday who we're playing. But you got a lot of stuff, including for our guys. This could be the last guaranteed time that they get to play at Wildcat Stadium. So the message is gonna be go out, solidify this, win your last game here at Wildcat Stadium, play for each other, and seniors you've earned the right to have a special night.
If they play straight up, they have a sophomore quarterback who's thrown for about 1,100 yards. He's their second leading rusher, I think, on the team. The offense kind of goes through him, but in a little bit that I've seen, they've been able to put some plays together with some different guys as skill position players. They always seem to have pretty good skill players.
Yeah, they got some skilled players, and you're right. Just watching him on film, he'll drop back. He's got some weapons out there. They're big up front, um, but they're going to play. Coach Timbrough, I said, they're going to be disciplined. They're not going to do anything to defeat themselves. They're going to come out. They're going to be sound. They're going to give him some looks. Um, they're going to run the ball. They're going to play hard. He gets them ready to go. And I think being the spoiler, and this group of seniors for him, their last guaranteed game because they're out of the playoffs and they're going to be, hanging the equipment up come Monday. But he will get them ready to go, and our guys have to be ready to shut the door on things and get out hopefully early, score some points, play good defense, and shut that door. Shut that door, and let's move on and hopefully be fortunate enough to get number 6 and see what's out of it.
Very, very few teams this year have matched Marion's speed on the perimeter with their skill players. When you face a team that's 1-7 coming in, and you're looking to get that 6th win, you're probably eyeing get some big plays early, take that momentum right away, and take advantage of that.
Yeah, we want to start fast. I would love to be able to carry over like we did last week. I thought we started off really fast. We were playing fast. We were playing efficient. And that's my goal every week, is especially coming into the last week. And we want to do what we do, and we want to do it well, right? We want to be efficient at it. I want to play. I want to be playing our best football going into next week. And but it's going to be a challenge. They always play us well. They got some big kids up front. They play with their hands well. They rally the football. They tackle well. And but after that being said, I think we go in and I'm looking to how can the Wildcats get better? What can we get better at? That is, hey, let's play fast, let's play efficient, and let's take care of part of ourselves.
You mentioned some guys that got dinged up. Is it kind of the typical 8th game of the season situations? And is there anybody that is not going to be able to play that you're aware of right now on Friday night?
As of now, as we're talking, I don't think anyone is out going into the ball game. I think yeah. I mean, you go through the South 7 schedule that we've gone through. Um, guys are going to get bruised. Guys are going to get dinged up. Um, Malachi was on the exercise bike yesterday. Junie was walking without a limp, so he's going to be good. Blake's still a little tender, but I don't think talking with the trainer, I don't think it's you know, um, anything major hip pointer. And I think Marcus is he said it felt better, and today will be a day where we just kind of we'll work on the game plan, get their bodies kind of back to doing some stuff. We'll do some treatment after practice, and I fully expect us to be full go come Friday night. Plus you add in that little that little uh, body hormone, adrenaline, and it tends to make things easier to play through come Friday night. But I think the Wildcats, I'm excited for this group of seniors and us to honor them and play in such a way as to give them a chance to leave here on a high note.
Adrenaline does make a big difference, and you talk about this being the last guaranteed home game for this senior class, with the seniors being recognized. And this is that, I guess, that final opportunity for them, possibly that final opportunity for them to feel that atmosphere that we've talked about week after
Oh,
week that is here at Wildcat
yeah,
Stadium.
it's something special. We played over our years of coaching together. We played in a lot of big places, a lot of unique atmospheres, but there's just something about Wildcat Stadium that brings a sense of confidence that no matter what the game is, we've won some big ball games here, and there's just a sense of peace as the game goes on. There's just a feeling that hey, we've got this. We're comfortable here. Our kids like playing here. Um, the atmosphere at times is really really positive. I love our the story of the season. We're getting all these pictures because come Friday night, he and I and the rest of the coaches, like we only see through this little porthole out there on the field, have no idea, and then all of a sudden you get some of these images, and it's like, wow, I wish there was an opportunity to kind of step back and just enjoy this for a moment. But from I think one of my favorite moments is after we shaking hands with the other staff, and they were playing country roads, and the students are on the field, and it's just a happy time with our guys, and I look forward to that, and I hope that we can continue to work, and that Friday night is not the last time that's
All right, so here's to a lot of train whistles
playing.
and a very sentimental and happy rendition of Country Roads at the end of
Yes,
the night.
yes.
It's Friday night, 7 o'clock, senior night here at Wildcat Stadium. The Wildcats and the Mattoon Green Wave. Been talking with Marion offensive coordinator Justin Vannoy, Marion head football coach Jason Dunning. For Dateline Marion and WGGH Radio, I'm Tim Petrowich.